All right, everybody, who is ready for a brand new DC update? I am back with some brand new information. And, well, may not be brand new, but there's been some stuff floating around for the last couple of days that I needed to address and talk about. And I could tell you right now that Warner Brothers is putting themselves in a very, very bad position that could easily open them up to some lawsuits from moviegoers as well as the actors and directors who have been in their films. Now, I haven't grabbed a lot of stills because it's been pretty quiet out there, but we're going to look at a few things here. So let's take a look at what I grabbed. Okay, so this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this is one of the things that could be opening up Warner Brothers for some potential lawsuits. And I'm beginning to think that David Zaslav is one dumb mother effer. I think this guy does not have a clue. He comes from a media background running stuff like, the Discovery Channel and realistic type shows that they're not scripted programs, and definitely not making feature films or scripted TV shows. That is not the world of David Zaslav. So he's over in the real world. And what we need is somebody who understands what these characters need and what should be happening. And this person posted, Zaslav never intended to restore the Snyderverse, and he didn't, and we're going to talk about this. From day one, all he wanted to do was find somebody who is capable of running DC Studios. So this is what David Zaslav said. What we tried to do is get really great leadership. The philosophy of our company is we don't want people to go to meetings. We want the people to do the work. He continued, so when I was meeting with James Gunn and he was writing Superman, and this means this goes back a long, long way, and he had written Guardians of the Galaxy, which is now a big hit for Marvel, not as big as their other franchises, and we need to be clear about that. James Gunn has never made anything amazing, okay? He goes on to say, which we're happy about because Gunn wrote the movie and directed that movie. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, why isn't this guy running DC? Zaslav went on to talk about how Gunn has been close to these characters his entire life. They are his family, and after reading his Superman, Zaslav saw his potential and wanted to work with him. Now, this way predates, okay, Black Adam. The studios flat out lied to the public when they had Superman at the end of Black Adam. All it was a ploy to get people in theaters. And if you look at the last 5 films, it is the movie that has garnered the most money for the company. And so more people went to see Black Adam than any of the last 5 films. And that means something. And for all the people who say, oh, it didn't bring people into the theaters, oh, it certainly did. Okay, there is no question about it. And they flat out lied because they had Henry Cavill out on the circuit for weeks after that, talking about how he was coming back as Superman, even though he didn't have a contract. But Warner Brothers is the one who put him out there, okay? They were trying to get people amped up and excited when they knew that they were never going to restore that part of the universe. And it makes you wonder why they did some of the stuff in these other films. But they never had plans. And this goes against everything that David Zaslav said before he took over Warner Brothers. He talks a good talk, but when it comes to walking the walk, the guy's got a problem. Zaslav has no business running DC properties. He's a hack. So is James Gunn. These guys are in charge of the characters that we love. It's sad to see. Now, this is the other thing that could get them in hot water. So somebody posted, apologies for the poor choice of words, but both Bruce Wayne and Batman cameos are still removed for good from Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And I mentioned this in a previous video. that the way they made it sound, James Wan said this was not tied to any of the DCEU films, meaning there's no Batman at all. It is nothing has changed since the test screenings. Do not expect to see an overarching connection to the DCU at large. So, sorry to say that nothing has changed, and they kept both of the Bruce Waynes removed for good in Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. And this goes after they show the photo of Ben Affleck with Jason Momoa on the set for the reshoots. And what's disgusting about this is you have a huge fan base who supported you through Black Adam. You had all these cameos in all these movies, and you cut them all out. You cut them all out, and you got people excited, and then you cut them all out. You wasted the money to film this stuff, and you cut it all out. All because of James Gunn. All because of James Gunn. We got screwed because of James Gunn and David Zaslav. These guys have no clue what the fans want. There's no hope for the future. Warner Brothers is still a sinking ship. They're losing money every day. They're not going to get out of this. I expect for them to be sold, and hopefully they'll be sold, and someone who cares about these properties will be in charge. Now let's talk a little bit about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is because of some of the reports about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So if you want to go in spoiler-free to the film, you might as well log out now, because I'm going to talk about a big spoiler. And if you guys watched the official trailer for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, they showed 3 storylines that they were taking inspiration from, you know, in regards to putting Aquaman 2 together. And one of those was the Aqua Baby. And for anybody who knows that story, it doesn't end well for the baby. And apparently this was in the film, and this caused a lot of people to walk out of the test screenings. So it looks like Aquaman's baby is going to be killed in the film. Now, I don't know if Warner Brothers is going to keep that in there or if they changed it because of the test screenings. But if you're staying true to the source material, you need to leave it in there. It should be in there. And it goes against the goofy nature of what they showed in the trailer. And this is a big problem with Warner Brothers. They don't know how and what tone to use for these characters or how they should be treating them. And, you know, it's really disgusting as a fan to see this tug of war and this back and forth with what they're doing with these movies. All the movies now have turned into generic comedies. That's all they've turned into, generic comedies. And nobody could deny that. I couldn't believe the amount of comedy that was in The Flash. I could not freaking believe it. The amount of comedy that was in Shazam 2, the amount of comedy that was in Blue Beetle. They have turned these movies into comedies. They're comedies first, action movies second. And this is not what fans who grew up with these characters want to see. It is a fact. The box office proves that. Black Adam was not a joke fest. It had some humor in it, but it's not on the level of Shazam 2. It's not on the level of Blue Beetle, and it's definitely not on the level of what The Flash did. People want to see that more serious nature. It's a fact. And I think Warner Brothers is opening them up to some lawsuits. And the fact that James Gunn, man, the fact that he wanted him to run this and went to him before Black Adam ever got released and they had this plan, they never were going to restore anything. It was all a ploy. It was all chatter on the internet to just get people excited to try and go see Black Adam. And then they just blew it all up. As soon as that movie was done, they're like, okay, let's let everybody down. Let's pull that rug out from underneath everybody, and we'll pull the Band-Aid off, and we're going to start axing this and axing that and axing this and screwing over everybody who got you there in the first place. Nice job, guys. Nice job, Warner Brothers. Zaslav, you're doing a great job at what you're appointed to do. James Gunn, wish you all the best, bud. Yeah, I'm sure your Superman is going to rock. I'm sure it will. Just remember when Superman Legacy comes out and you see how just feminine Superman is compared to what we had with Henry Cavill, you guys can enjoy your soy boy Superman, and the rest of us will enjoy the serious nature of what we had and never look back. And you guys can keep your box office. I guarantee you, if these plans go forward, this DCU that James Gunn is planning is going to fail. The audiences have had it. Everyone is tired of what's been going on. You know, you talk about that what do you call it? Just people are worn out on superhero films. The superhero fatigue. It's there. And if you don't have something truly special, you're going to lose that audience. They went the worst route possible, and to only keep some people in their roles and not others. Of course, James Gunn's going to keep everything that he was a part of. Of course he will. Of course he will. We all know who James Gunn is at this stage. He lies. The studio lied about, they flat out lied about The Flash. They lied about the special effects. They lied about the post-credit scene. They keep lying about everything. That's who David Zaslav and James Gunn are. And it's what we have to look forward to. And you talk about James Gunn saying that the Superman script was written and done before the strike started. That's not what he said when it all started. He had just turned in the first draft. So was he lying then, or is he lying now? Which one is the lie? And if he did turn in the first draft, that means he was working against the WGA when he shouldn't have been writing. So, which is it? Which is it, guys? He's lying on one end or the other. This is the Warner Brothers we have today. Nothing but lies. All right, guys, I will be covering everything going forward, and I will be back tonight with my Ahsoka Episode 6 reaction. I'm looking forward to the review on that. I'm really looking forward to that episode. The last 2 weeks have been phenomenal on Ahsoka, and I will be back with more reviews on that stuff coming up. So stick to my channel. I got lots of content coming up shortly. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.